you know, about the Vietnam War. Well, it's 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me. I don't give a damn. The next stop is Vietnam.
Yep.
But these kids, they came together because they were driven by something at the grassroots. And guess what? They changed the world. They changed federal law. They brought it. And what's really funny is how the politicians, at first, were mocking them. But then their whole movement started catching wind with people at large. It wasn't organized. It wasn't owned by any particular, party in Washington, D.C., and it became powerful. And pretty soon, the same politicians who were agging on Nixon to mow them down with their water cannons in front of the White House, now the same politicians were marching in their marches coming down the street because, now all of a sudden it becomes a voting bloc that they want to own. And what I fear is, for the first time in my adult life, I'm seeing the same thing happening now at the grassroots level with the Tea Party. And guess what? Once again, all the members of the GOP, the Democrats, whoever can, they're trying to get on the podiums for the Tea Party so they can own that movement that began as a grassroots movement.
That's right. You're exactly right. I was one of those bikers that was backing up you hippies in the park while we were both smoking, and the jocks came up and wanted to hassle you.
What bike gang did you belong to?
I helped start the Banditos. I helped start the. I was a member of the Dirty Dozen, one of the original members. Maybe I was the 13th Dirty Dozen member. And they went to the Hell's Angels.
Did you ever know Tiger Whitehurst, who was the head? He was the mother president of the Devil's Disciples.
No. I know the current president of the Devil's Disciples here in Tucson. His name's Kenny Rogers. I've met Sonny Barger.
Well,
I've met Mother Chambers.
I knew Tiger.
I did write, for motorcycle industry for Easy Riders for years, and published 2 motorcycle magazines. But we were right in the '60s. We were right in the '60s, and talk about grassroots. I mean, we changed the world. We stopped the war sitting around smoking a joint. And I also believe now I've got a lot of my Christian friends, Clay, we can't support you if you're going to talk about marijuana. I said they stole our #1 cash crop. The Bible called it a plant of renown. The Genesis said that God gave us every plant for our use, and it was a $1 billion crop here in America. Hemp. I'm not just talking about getting high. I'm talking about hemp. It was a $1 billion crop here, and it was stolen from us. And today, we're putting Americans in prison by the millions for smoking a plant God gave us. To me, that's part of the police state. That's part of the New World Order, and I believe the intelligence agencies are bringing it in.
Well, it was a $1 million crop. You're talking about when they used it for making rope?
Yes, sir. When they made it for rope, when they made it for sails, when we were burning the oil in our lamps, our flag was made out of it, our Constitution was made out of it, and the Encyclopedia Britannica was printed on it for 100 years. Yes, sir. That's the one. That's the plant. It's called hemp.
Yeah.
But we've got medical marijuana in now. So there are changes. We have made changes. I helped start High Times. I helped start the paraphernalia industry. I helped start the Patriot movement and the Tea Parties. You're right about the Tea Parties. We've got a vice presidential candidate in the Tea Parties that's promoting war with Iran. That seemed to me to be kind of a going the wrong direction.
Well, I hope that it stays corrected because, my whole adult life, I've been waiting for a day where people would wake up again. I was the keynote speaker at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention in 1989. And I was talking then about, in fact, that's the last time they ever invited me to speak. First and last time the NRB ever invited me to speak, because there was a new doctrine at that time. It was called the Kingdom Age doctrine. And people like Pat Robertson and whatever were writing books about it and advocating for it. What it really was was pushing the church to get more involved in politics and to try to, take over the Supreme Court. And today it's called Reconstructionism or Dominionism. The idea being that we're going to take over all, the courts, we're going to take over the presidency, the executive level, and then we're going to mandate morality. And once we perfect the earth, then Jesus can finally return to the earth. Well, I just thought this was insane babble. And I got up and I gave a lecture on it, and I said, if we were to follow the dominionist scheme to its ultimate end, we would literally be paving the way for the coming of the Antichrist. Because if you look in the book of Revelation, that's exactly how the Antichrist comes to power. It is a marriage of politics and religion. And to me, I don't say keep the two separate because of the rules that most people are always bantering about, the separation of church and state. It has nothing to do with that. To me, it has to do with the church's power is in the preaching of the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's the message of the New Testament. It is the preaching of the gospel that can change people's hearts from the inside out. It's not legislating morality. And if you look at the New Testament model, Jesus never tried to take over politics. In fact, he didn't even want anything to do with politicians. If you look at the New Testament church in the book of Acts, they never set about to try to create some kind of a theocracy on earth. They simply went about preaching the gospel and helping the poor and doing the things that they were supposed to do to take care of one another. And as a result of it, they turned the world upside down. They brought about the demise of every pagan religion that had existed for thousands of years before that. They literally changed the world. And so I had a real issue with it. Well, I got up and talked about it, and it went over like a lead balloon. I mean, there were a few people that got it, but most of them, they thought, oh, no, you've completely missed the point. We need to get the voter pamphlets in the churches and tell people how they're supposed to vote, who they're supposed to vote for, and we're going to champion this Democrat, and then we're going to champion that Republican. And what winds up happening is the churches become owned by insincere bureaucrats who are trying to simply use the church as just another voting block. So anyway, that's some of my own personal ranting.
Well, it's one of the things that when the Christian identity people were trying to get me to stop speaking up for the legalization of hemp and the return of hemp here, it was like they were trying to intimidate me to the same way that these Jewish organizations, the ADL, wants me to stop linking and informing people about the protocols of the elders of Zion. I mean, this is a whole plan for one world government under Lucifer. It calls for one world government under Lucifer. The Masons call for state that Lucifer is a god of this world. And but when they try to force you to believe a certain way and to act a certain way and to follow a certain path, then they are doing the same thing to you that the so-called evil ones are trying to do to all of us.
Yeah. Well, in any case, I've got another show coming up here in about 3 minutes, so
okay.
I don't know if there's anything else you need me to address.
I want you to. We've got 2 minutes left. Just give them the name, how they can get your book, the name of the books, and the links are on my site. And I really appreciate you being on my show. I'd like to have you back. Give out that information, and we'll call it a day.
Okay, well, thanks for having me on your show, by the way. Yeah, the book is called Forbidden Gates, and there's only one place in the world where they can get the book right now, and that's at survivormall.com. Survivormall.com. They have the world exclusive until February of next year, but they've got the book in stock right now. In fact, they've been shipping it by the truckloads. So they can get it there. They can also, though, if they want to just learn more about the issue of biotechnology and the coming human enhancement revolution, what the government is saying, what the military is saying, they can go to ForbiddenGate.com, and they can watch hours of movies there, documentary films on this subject. They can download the government reports in PDF format and read those. They can get more information about us. And then my news service, of course, is RaidersNewsUpdate.com.
Okay, I've got the link as RaiderNewsNetwork.com. Give me that website again, and I'll add that to your page here.
Yeah, RaidersNewsUpdate.com. RaidersNewsNetwork.com also works, but we're moving that domain to a different server right now, so we're only telling people RaidersNewsUpdate.com.